we are ending this year's awards with some of the most probably controversial, and that will be the gaming section of my awards. And we are actually going to start somewhere very fun. And I'm starting with an award that I just started this year, which is Best Storytelling, which is different than Best Writing. And Best Storytelling would easily go to Telltale. And this is something that has really only been seen in the later end of the year with the first chapter of Wolf Among Us, as well as season 2 of Walking Dead. But Telltale Games just knows how to enthrall you right off the bat, knows how to like push you in a certain way to do certain things, and it's really fascinating to see just how well they're able to pull this off. And I mean, last year Game of the Year was easily season 1 of Walking Dead, and just seeing where they took season 2 so far, and just some of the choices they kind of force you into, it's interesting stuff. And I mean, seeing them get a hold of the Fables license, and seeing what they did with Bigby in the first chapter, it's really awesome stuff, and I cannot wait to see exactly what they do next. Telltale is beyond fantastic, and they know exactly what they're doing. And like I said, I can't wait for the next couple chapters of Wolf Among Us, as well as season 2 of Walking Dead, because I really, really want to know what that teaser was all about. At the very end of the teaser, if you played season 2, chapter 1 of Walking Dead, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But moving on, I'm actually going to save Game of the Year for the last, because I'll save most anticipated for last, and then I'll go into Game of the Year. Yeah, that makes sense. But best indie game, I have 2 here. One of them being Rogue Legacy, because I've spent 41 hours in that game apparently. And Rogue Legacy is basically a roguelike game, which gives you certain power-ups that you can buy and purchase and improve your character as you play through the game. And there's a new story plus, as well as a new story plus plus. So you basically beat the game 3 to 4 times, depending on your interest in the game, and it's highly addictive. You die a lot, and you basically go into this cursed castle, and if you die, you become a new sibling, or a new what's the word I'm looking for? New family relation from your predecessor, and you just continue the legacy, hence the name Rogue Legacy. And it's just really fun, addicting stuff. I've died so many times in that game, it's not even funny. And I mean, you have different classes to choose from, you have different abilities that they can have, whether they're a hindrance or an ability that'll help you. You have different armor classes, different weapons, different spells, and it's surprising at how in depth it is. I played it on my PC, my laptop, which I'm obviously recording from right now. It's also available, I think, both on 360 as well as PlayStation. But like I said, I played it on my PC. It's very easy to I don't know what I'm trying to say there. It's very easy to I'm just moving on. Stanley Parable is the other one, and if you played the Stanley Parable, you know why. It's kind of Portal-like in its sense of humor, but you're basically following the story that a narrator is telling, and you can decide whether or not you're fully going to listen to that narrator. Though if you don't listen, chaos quickly ensues, and it's kind of fun to ignore the narrator and just find out exactly what happens if you don't listen to the narrator. And it's fun stuff. It's interesting. That and Gone Home have kind of explored new facets of the industry that I don't think have really been achieved or been able to be explored in the past. And I will talk about Gone Home once I get to best writing, but it's really, really interesting stuff, and it's super cheap on Steam. I would highly recommend seeking it out if you haven't played it yet. Like I said, it's Portal-like, though it's not an action game. It's much more of you're kind of interacting with this narrator as he tells you to do stuff, and you can like point and click at moments depending on what the narrator tells you to do. But I would definitely recommend checking it out. Best shooter would be Bioshock Infinite, and that's kind of a no-brainer there. It's probably the only shooter I really played this year, and it's a shooter in the very loosest term of shooter, but it's a Bioshock game, so like it is classified under a shooter, but it's storytelling as well as like 70% of its gameplay is shooting, as well as using your powers, and it's just Bioshock Infinite achieved it in new ways that we haven't really seen explored yet, and just took you to new surroundings, and even the DLC was unique in what it did. And I'm just really curious to see where they take the franchise next. And so it's a really great, long-standing IP now, especially that this is the third game. So I really cannot wait to see where Ken Levine and his team take Bioshock next, because I think they can really go anywhere, especially after the end of the game. And its mechanics were great, especially when you upgraded or combined with certain powers and certain guns, and just how chaotic that game could feel at moments was really, really interesting. Best DLC, without hesitation, was Mass Effect 3's Citadel DLC, because it was a love letter and a thank you to the fan base. It goes thank you for support. It was BioWare kind of going, thank you for supporting this franchise for all three games. It was the last kind of moment to hang out with these friends that you've known for 100+ hours now. It gave you a really fascinating story that I wasn't expecting. That is corny at moments, but it's well worth looking into. And I mean, everything. It was only, what was it, $10-15? I can't remember right now, but playing through it, I loved every second of it, and I will replay and replay again, especially as I've been replaying the games every once in a while, because I really love that franchise. And I mean, this DLC, well made everything. Like this, it felt like, you were saying your final goodbyes, and just gave you fan service out the wazoo, pretty much. What is that expression, out the wazoo? Anyways, best villain. It's a very loose definition of the word, and hopefully this doesn't get flagged. But speaking of getting flagged, it is YouTube's copyright system, because that cluster, dear God, it's just, I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully YouTube is finally able to clear it up, because it's been chaotic, mostly for Let's Players and people that work in the gaming industry have been heavily affected by it, and even those who have cleared, or reviewers are getting affected by that, and that's insanity. I don't understand, and like I said, hopefully in 2014 this all gets cleared away, and issues no longer are becoming issues. I gotta fix my vest. There we go. But talking about positive things, best writing, Stanley Parable, like I mentioned, and Gone Home both have fantastic writing, and just like I said, they explore new and interesting ideas that I don't really think have been explored in gaming, if not recently, in a really long time. Like Gone Home has this clear set narrative that you experience, and the way they do so speaks volumes to its writing, is just the story that it's telling, which I don't want to spoil. That's why I'm being vague. I would highly recommend seeking it out. It's like a game that you spend basically 2 hours with, and just the level of tension that it builds, the mystery that it builds, learning more and more about this family and what they're going through. It's really interesting stuff, and I really cannot speak higher to it. And then Stanley Parable, it's just much more humor based, and kind of tricks you into opposing this narrator and not fully trusting what he's saying. And so, like, when you do oppose him, bad stuff starts to happen and chaos quickly ensues. And then my third choice is actually Saints Row 4. And Saints Row 4 kind of I love GTA 5's story. I really do. But I think what Saints Row does that GTA doesn't is fully embraces the fact that it's a game, fully embraces and gives a love letter to everything possible. That's why it's, surprise, surprise, it's my game of the year. It is easily my game of the year. And once again, like I said, I really like GTA. I like the Deadpool game. I like Lego Marvel Superheroes, which was also fantastic. But Saints Row 4 is the one that I played pretty much nonstop for basically 2 weeks is how much I was playing that game. At least like 2-3 hours a day for the most part, and just got quickly addicted. Played through all the DLC. I even bought the homie DLC that was the hey Ash, what you playing? Playing with Anthony and their father and Ash, and it's just there's something about a game that references the Matrix, references Transformers, references They Live without spoiling anything. I won't go into how they reference They Live, but they fully reference They Live. They reference Iron Man. Just you have superpowers, and it's just it embraces the idea that it's a video game. It understands that it's a video game. It just completely goes crazy with that, and basically goes, okay, you're stuck in a simulation that this alien despot ruler guy who's conquered your planet is basically sucked you into the simulation. You're the president of the United States and the leader of the Saints, and you have to get out of this situation. So how you get out of this situation is completely up to you as you completely power up more and more and just become this ultimate badass character, and just you can play as Nolan North. Nolan North is a choice. I think Jennifer Hale is a choice too. And just so you're basically playing the game as Deadpool, depending on if you choose Nolan North or not, which I think is hilarious. And it's just, I love this game. I unabashedly love it. It's there. Saints Row 3 is just as good as this, and it's just it embraces its insanity and just goes all cylinders and kind of shows you everything you can do in a video game without having to take like full drama in there, or just I'm lost at what I'm trying to say. But I cannot recommend it any higher than I do, because it's easily my game of the year. It's the most fun I've had playing a video game in a really, really, really long time, where collecting stuff and finding stuff in the game didn't feel like a chore at all. And that's saying something. I mean, like, you gain more and more abilities as time goes on, and you can upgrade those abilities by finding different things around the simulated city, and just the fact that you're fighting, aliens in a simulation is awesome to me. Plus, dubstep gun. Come on, dubstep gun. That's insane. They give you a giant mech. There's an argument about the giant mech. I mean, even the characters, going back to the writing, each one of the characters in this world feels fully fleshed out. Yes, they do go with tropes, but I mean, Yuri Lowenthal's character goes through some very interesting stuff that I don't want to spoil, that I think is hilarious, and gets to meet his quote unquote idol, and just some of the stuff that he goes through. I mean, yeah, why can't I think of Keith David? Keith David is basically playing Captain Anderson from Mass Effect mixed with his character from They Live and every other character that he's ever played, and he fully embraces that insanity. Like, it's the voice acting top notch, and actually, since perfect timing, since we're talking about voice acting, best voice acting male without any hesitation whatsoever is Troy Baker. Troy Baker was absolutely so good in Bioshock Infinite. He was Booker Washington, obviously, and then The Last of Us, he's Joel, and both of those roles he brought a new element to. He was the Joker. He was the Joker this year. He was Loki inside of the Marvel Lego game. There's so much stuff that Troy did this year that's insane, that it felt like the guy was going for every award imaginable, and I mean, I think he pulled it off, and it's just, I can't say enough things. His performance was beyond amazing in everything that he did this year. He made those characters human. He made you feel for these characters, and just, I mean, his Joker, he was not impersonating Mark Hamill, but it's up there. It really is. It's eerie how up there it is. I mean, I got to interview him at New York Comic Con, and when I talked to him at New York Comic Con, he was just, you could tell he was legitimately excited about this stuff. I mean, the question I asked, he was like, "Steven, that's such a good button to press." When I talked to him, which made me smile a lot and just made me want to go, why can't I have Troy Baker on for a full episode of the podcast? And Best Female Voice Acting is actually Ashley Johnson for her role in The Last of Us. She played Ellie, for those that don't know. And Ellie felt real. Ellie felt 100% real. She felt like a real teenage girl, which I'm sure speaks to writing, but it also speaks to performance. And I mean, just her performance as Ellie was absolutely fantastic, and I mean, it's just so good. Both did a fantastic job in their respective roles. I mean, the way she bounced off Troy was just so well done. It's just, I cannot say enough positive things. The Last of Us was fantastic. And we finally arrive at the last of the awards. And then this video is sadly over. And then the next video I release after these three, or it might be right before these three, is just talking about 2013 in general. Just my overall thoughts on how the year went for me personally, and just talking about that. But yeah, most anticipated is easily Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, just to see exactly where they're taking both of those stories. I don't know. I have no idea. And especially after the two teasers, and knowing what I know about Fables just kind of has me going, okay, where are you guys going with this? I really, really want to know. And then South Park and the Stick of Truth, which looks like the best RPG we might get in years, in easily in years, which is shocking to say. But I mean, supposedly it has like a full season's worth of content, which is at least probably around 40 hours, which is crazy, 40 to 60 hours depending. And I fully voice acted too, and I mean like fully animated, and just it looks insane from all the stuff I've seen. And I'm still patiently I put it on this list, but I don't know if it's going to come out this year. But I'm still very, 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 very patiently waiting for Team Meat's new game. The crazy cat lady simulator, as it's been lovingly referred to. But yeah, so that is it for this year's Why I Love Comics Awards. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching all three videos. If you checked them out, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel, and leave comments on what your either what your thoughts on some of the stuff I've talked about, or what your thoughts are on some of the other on some of the stuff that you've played, you've read, you've watched. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback. You know I respond to every single comment that I can. So yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next year.